Morning. It's May 4th, and I wanted to do a little garden update on everything we've got planted here. Early in the season, inside, we took this igloo cooler and we planted some black carrots from India, and you can see these things they're doing great. That was just something to get an early start. And here's the pots we had our ginger in. We planted ginger last year, and then we harvested the ginger root. And here in Indiana, you can't leave it in the ground or it'll freeze, so we overwintered it in potting mix in these little containers and then brought them outside when they started sprouting this spring and planted them in these boxes. You can see here how they're starting to sprout, and this is a little box we put some in, and it's doing well. Here are the Sarpo Mira container potatoes. You can see how well these guys are doing. These actually are doing a little better than our first year planting. Last year was our first year planting, and they're doing great. Here they are in 5-gallon buckets. Let you get a little. Okay, and here's the tomato plants we planted, and we did go ahead and tie some twine because they were very leggy plants from the bottom, wrap it around the stalk, and then we tied that to the top of the cage, and that helps in these high winds we're getting in early spring here. We get some terribly high winds, and this will help them in the cages while they're small plants. We have some halcinators. These are our first trial run. We're a couple weeks early. Actually, about a week and a half early, so we went ahead and tried it. We have extras in case the weather acts funky. And these back here are cherry tomatoes that's going to grow up along this arbor I made. And then right here we have our cabbages that we planted last week, and we have it under a frame. It's a PVC frame with insect netting because the little codling moths, they're already out. It's the little white moths you see flying around in your garden. If you see those guys and you got brassicas and cabbages and things like that, check your leaves, because if you don't cover it, anyway, here for us, if we don't cover it, the little caterpillar worms that eat them up. Here's some more lettuce in a container we have. That's iceberg lettuce. Here's our lettuce box that we had to eventually build a frame over and put some screens over it to help protect from the sun. This year, this weather's already starting out to be a challenge. With the high winds and the strong storms, all the rain, we're breaking records for rain, we're breaking records for high temps, we're breaking records for low temps. But this is just to help us out. This little, back up and let you see. Just a little frame. We're going to order some shade cloth this year too. It just hadn't got here, but I had extra window screens just for this purpose, and you can see how nice that's looking. We'll go right down here. Here's our blueberry plants, and they're really starting to put on the blueberries. There's our thyme plant from last year, and I took some cuttings and planted it, and they're doing well. That's a Northland variety blueberry, and this is a Blu-ray variety. You can see it's just loaded with berries. Here's another Northland. Here's a rosemary plant. Here's another Blu-ray. It's just loaded with berries. Here's some potatoes. These are Yukon Golds we planted in this big pot, and they're doing good. Our spinaches were some of the first things we planted out, and they're starting to do well. Our garlic, we had to build a frame for this garlic too because the sun was just burning it up. But you can see, let me go this way. See how nice? We just took a PVC pipe and screwed a screen on top of it and on the side, and that helps with the sun. And you can see how really nice this stuff is doing. This is a northern white variety garlic. Okay, we'll turn back around this way. Here's the rest of our tomato plants. We've got to go out. We're slowly letting this stuff acclimate outside. It's about to run me out of room inside under my lights. And I put them outside on the front porch and they become leggy on me, so that's why we went ahead and planted a few. There's our Marone peppers. They're getting ready to go in the ground this weekend. Some more tomato plants. Some more tomato plants. And there's our cucumber plants we started for us and one of our friends. And here's our, get you a good shot of that. Sorry if the sun's in your eyes. I'm trying to get this video going before the sun comes up. Here's our strawberry box. We planted our bare root strawberries in. And these guys they're taking off. And these little cups, let me see. Is where I plant the runners, and then they'll root, and once they get rooted in these cups, I can cut them off from the mother plant. So everything's doing well here. Right up here is where we're going to plant our giant Marones, and I cut my lawn and bag it because we don't fertilize and we don't pesticides or herbicides or anything like that on our lawn. And I just pile it up there, and that makes a great mulch. And you can see I've left the areas where we're going to plant the Marone peppers open. We don't want all that grass there. Here's we've got about a 50-foot blackberry row, and it's starting to come out really well. And underneath the blackberries, I went ahead like I did last year and planted some ginger. There's a potato I missed last year, and it went through the winter. I'm amazed that it made it, but it did, so we'll have some potatoes there. And under each, these plants are about 5-6 feet apart, and under each one, I planted a little ginger plant. You can see here. Little ginger plant. Another ginger plant. Okay, you kind of get the gist of that. We're going to be planting a tomato plant in this fire ring. We've done well with this thing. This was picked up at the curb. Stainless steel, still in great shape. And I planted multiple things in it. Potatoes did well in it. We're going to try a tomato plant here. That's my little compost pile from our rabbit bedding and all of our leaves, and I'm gonna get that turned in today. Here's our onion box that we planted. These are forgive me, I've lost my track of thought on what. Yellow Spanish onions. Yeah, sometimes I lose my track of thought. I don't know if I need editing software or some hooked on phonics. But anyway, there's some yellow Spanish onions. Here's a little row of containers that we have these are baby Dutch potatoes in. These are small potatoes made for like crock pots and stuff, so we don't need a big container for these guys. Here's our little barbecue grill we turned into a planter box, and it's got spinach and it's doing well. We're going to get some siding on this building this year, so don't judge me. There's our garden soil from our planter boxes. This weekend we'll probably, maybe next weekend, I'll go ahead and fix this box up where the tomato cages are laying. That's going to be our bean box. We do beans there every year. And here's our beets are starting to take off. I had to put the little the cages on there for the rabbits. They like to chew our stuff down. So we plant enough for us and them, and everybody gets a little bit. And here's our boxes that we planted our Yukon Gold potatoes in this box. We have videos on our channel of how we did this. And I just put the stakes on the ends, and these little side pieces here, I'm going to wrap string from that one down to there and back around, and that helps hold these plants up as they start growing. And they're all coming up really nice. And here's our bucket container of, this is where we're going to put another box. We've actually taken the old box out, but I've got to get the lumber and the mulch to go around it. So while we're waiting on the money for that, we just decided to go ahead and put some of these buckets in here and put some of these. This first two right here is, there again, I lost my track of thought. Sarpo Miras, and the rest are Yukon Golds. And these things are doing great. And we paint the buckets black just so we don't have any green potatoes, because green potatoes are toxic to eat. So if you're putting your potato plants in buckets, make sure they're colored buckets and not white buckets. It does help out. And if you got white buckets, just paint them black. And here's some of our Elsa Craigs. And we went ahead and put some marigolds in these pots, because right here we're going to put some cucumber, and that helps with the cucumber beetles. And then we have our Elsa Craigs here, and they're doing great. You know, they're really starting to do something. You can see how beautiful these leaves are. Looks kind of like a candelabra. So hopefully, with any luck, these guys we can keep uncovered. When we get a lot of rain, we try to cover them up. We don't want to start rotting them off. And then right here are the containers that we have our yellow Spanish onions in. And you can see how nice these guys are doing. Get you. Yeah, so they're doing really great. So there we go. There's an update. Our May update on everything. If you like the videos we put out, we'd appreciate you giving us a thumbs up. Like, sharing, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.